Okay, welcome back. So, for today, we're going to looking at the cybersecurity strategy and architecture over the cloud. So, we are looking at two different components. One is a traditional cybersecurity strategy, reference models, architecture solutions, how we're going to do the layers of controls, and then we're going to looking at what is the cybersecurity cloud strategy and models for the cloud. So first of all, let's move on to the cybersecurity reference architecture. We have different standards such as the SASPR, ISO 27000, BS 7799. We also have NIST. We also have a different variety of compliance standards such as PCI DSS, EPO. We also have different countries' regulation like Europe have a GIPA, and Australia have IREP, and American have NISTA. So overall, cybersecurity is sort of reference. We need to follow up with a reference. So let's, for example, we're going to look at a typical security frameworks for the enterprise, and this is a SAVASA reference architecture. We're going to look at from top down. We're going to have compliance requirements, threat monitoring. We're going to define a strategy, come up with the planning, and then come up with the framework architecture, conceptual, high level, low level, logical, and physical, and then down to development, design development. And then we're going to look at it down to the needs. We're going to look at the service modules, administration, event monitoring, incident monitoring, vulnerabilities. We're also going to look at it from operation perspective, what is sort of the procedure, guideline, standard, and what sort of policies need to be put in place, and how we're going to do the auditing and compliance, and also we're going to have ongoing education and awareness. Now, this is a typical general policy frameworks which is done from the principle, the up level which is principle, and then middle level is a policy, security policy, organization policy, asset classifications, and controls, personal security, physical security, communication security, access control, system development. And then we're going to look at the standard guideline procedures. So this is a typical SAVASA, security frameworks. And if we go down to the needs, we're going to looking at even more. Let's say, for example, we're going to looking at the identity management, access management, and configuration management. We're also going to look at the policy repository, the policy, the change management policies, control point, and then we're going to have a control such as access control, services, border control, protection policies, detection, content security controls, auditings, cryptos, and also runtime enforcement. So we're going to have a variety of the components, which is down from the management. The left is management. Look at it, how we can do the user and access and configuration management, and policy management, and down to the controls for each layers. Now, on the typical risk management and down to the control, we're going to looking at from, we call them nine different stacks or 9 different components for the security, including government policies, and domain controls. We're also going to look at operational risk, how we're going to have doing the operational risk BCPs, how we're going to have information architectures, how we're going to do the certificate key management, how we're going to do the access controls, how we're going to do the incident management, which is SIEM, how I'm going to do the applications security, such as the vulnerability of the code, or how we're going to do the code scannings, how we're going to do web services security. Let's say how we're going to defend the web service, how we're going to do the SSL, how we're going to do the layer 7 headers level, how we're going to do the signature based authentications, how we're going to do the communication, which is network layers. We're quickly going through each layer and just look at how how we're going to do this. And overall, we're going to look at it from the central security control perspective. We're going to look at it from platform security, hardware security, network cloud security, operation security, file security, and database security. But I would say this has been significant change in particularly last 5 years or 5 years time, because the boundary of the enterprise in terms of security, defense, and sort of monitoring, that boundary has been extended from the premises data centers towards the cloud. And due to the fact, which is the cloud, first of all, they have variety of different security product catalog. For instance, Amazon have Security Hub and Control Tower, and also they have IAM and SAPs, SPS, which is for short-term tokens. They have variety of other security things, which is protect organization, account, operation unit. That has been significant change. The definition of the standard or traditional security boundaries of enterprise. We're going to look at the details in the later on chapters. Next, we're also going to look at from the operations security perspective, what sort of the things they need to be aware, including this, operation guidelines, administration guidelines, configuration patterns. One of the things for the cloud, we try to look at how we're going to optimize, those patch management and also configuration management. We try to leverage as much as infrastructure as code functionality, and how we're going to, reduce the vulnerability and reduce of the code, and reduce the fault may caused by the the code and change issues. We're going to talk about that later on. We're also going to look at the monitorings, automatic monitoring, the event and how they're going to integrate with event, loggings, CrowdTrace and stuff. Penetration testings, vulnerability scan, penetration testings, access management, change management, and incident management. So that's all the different layers we need to be aware and need to be considered. There's different technology, which is, network layers. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. There is, we call them layers of defense. So host layers, also, host, antivirus, vulnerability, and server access control, mobile device. That has been significant change as well, due to the cloud natures, native cloud, runtime, and container service registration, and infrastructure cloud, and system managers. That has been significant change. Also, the next one, which is application layer, the certificate, there has been significant change as well over the cloud. We call them data in transit and data on rest need to be protected. Key management, key vault, and also strong hardware key management, robust, which is role-based access control, robust, yeah. Application code vulnerability scans, key management, source code. Next one we're going to looking at, which is data protections, like Amazon have data protections, data encryptions, DDoS, and backup, recovery and backup. We just cover the stuff such as policy, procedure awareness, and government's business connectivity. We're also talking about the different compliance standard, ISO, FISTR, HIPAA, PCI DSS, HIPAA, SOC 2. We're also talking about the chain management, identity management, incident management, security, and governments. So next slides, we are going to looking at from the cloud how that has been changed and how we're going to have different strategies in terms of security reference frameworks and controls, and how we can define a best fit or the best practice solution for the enterprise.